timing on that one, but we're here. It all works out. It's all good. When has Constantly Calibrating ever been good on the timing of any of those kind of things? We were live at the exact time the show was supposed to start. That's the perk. I like it.
Was that the sound of a haunted house going on?
No, it's if I put a little extra pressure on my boom arm, I can make it sound like a haunted house. No, it's just whenever Josh says anything about like, oh, it's the show, everything's good, everything's great, typical Con Cal fashion, I'm like, okay.
Yep. You gotta just get that mic a little extra torque just to put me in my place.
I pulled up Twitter, so I'm not looking at the video for a second. I hear this noise. I'm like, excuse me? How haunted is this podcast?
Look, immediately transport to the haunted mansion. Great.
Yeah. It's the coffin that they keep me in, just slowly opening, and me coming out and shaking off all the dust and cobwebs.
See, I wasn't looking straight. So the way my setup works is my camera's above the monitor with like the chat and stuff, but I have like you guys full screen on a different monitor, so you're kind of at the corner of my eye. So I hear that. I don't go to haunted house. I go to someone needs to go to the hospital because they are just ripping ass in like the worst conceivable, like painful way. I'm like,
wait,
God.
Dude, you're like, oh wait, it's just Blake.
Yeah,
I mean that context.
Yeah, no, that context works. Alex is like, why am I here? Anyways, everyone, welcome you all to episode 311 of the Constantly Calibrating Podcast.
311?
311. This is, I just was going to try to
come on the goddamn 311.
So this is the Amber podcast.
Amber's the color of our energy.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, Wait.
That's not where I went. I went to.
I wish I had known.
What the name is.
I wish I had done math better. Then I realized, I consciously thought, 311, this shit again.
Yeah. So, I thought 311 the band as soon as the words came out of my mouth, and I paused, and I'm like, wait, I can't remember 311 music. I was just at emo night for like 5 hours. All I can think of is Fall Out Boy right now for some reason. And I just couldn't remember any lyrics to spit out. But as always, I am your host, Josh Silverman, joined by my co-host, Justin Stanley. Joining us tonight, we have, returning to the show for the first time, as we just realized in about a year, got Blake. Got Blake Dove here. How you doing, Blake?
Me. I'm good.
Hey,
fantastic.
You're here to talk some PAX South stuff and then run off mid-sentence, probably, because you have shit to do.
Yeah, because we were at the event all weekend and it was a lot of fun. But I have this thing called unemployment that I got to figure out, and I love the podcast and the website and making content, but sometimes,
I was like, website. Sometimes you actually got to do shit. It makes perfect sense, but it's nice to have you here to talk a little PAX South stuff, which we'll into in a second here. But we're going to introduce our guest who wasn't at PAX South, is joining us for a very awkward setup for a show because it's Constantly Calibrating. We always do this our first time. Right. Alex O'Neill, who you might know as the guy behind Irrational Passions, and one of my dreams, I didn't write you an intro and I had 8,000 fucking words pop into my head all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, who I've wanted on the show for so goddamn long.
It just means he loves you so much.
Is that what
Truly.
That means?
Yeah. Well, Josh has a habit of pulling people aside and be like, hey, guess who I got on the podcast this week? And it's like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Who is it? And he was like, Alex O'Neill. And I was like, oh wow.
Who the fuck is that?
Irrational Passions, okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds dope.
It's better than the old days when I would be like, hey, I talked to this person at an event to come on the show, and they're really interested, and then it would be Brad, Brian, and Justin being like, oh, who is it? And I would just list off someone well-known for some really awful shit that I was not aware of because I lived in a bubble world at that time.
Yeah.
So not knowing who a person is better.
Right.
In this case. But no, Alex is from the Kind of Funny community. He is actually the first best friend I ever knew the name of, pretty much. And a person who started, you started Irrational Passions around the same time. With ConCal, we've been around similar amounts of time, and
10 years? Jesus.
You've been 8 years for us. So
yeah.
So
Watch the throne. All right, no, I'm kidding.
No, so it was someone I'm very excited to talk to, and we're gonna get to talking to Alex about more stuff in a little bit, because we're talking PAX South. No, Alex, you'll be talking about PAX South stuff with us, because have you ever done South, actually? Let me ask you.
Never, not once. I thought.
Don't worry about it.
No, yeah, don't worry about it. It's
yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Have you been to PAX Unplugged?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I was walking around with somebody at PAX South this weekend, and this is a show that I've worked for like the last 8 years, and I'm walking around with the guy, and he goes, "Yeah, this is like half the size of Unplugged," and I was like, "Okay." And Unplugged's whole thing is that it's the small, accessible PAX.
Yes.
So that makes South the value meal PAX, I guess. I don't know, but it was a fun weekend. It was good.
Last year PAX South disappointed me. I think I talked about this last year. It disappointed me because I didn't know what to expect, and I hadn't done East at that point, but I'd done West numerous times, and it just paled in comparison to West. And I scheduled so many appointments, and I couldn't do any of them until like they're all Saturday and Sunday, and I did everything I could possibly want to do on Friday. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't really know what to make of the event. This year I went in a little more prepared, and I had a better time. That being said, I bumped into our buddy Kate Sanchez at the top of the show, like during media hour, which I got to media hour 10 minutes late. And in that 50 minutes of walking around with her and her husband, Matt, hit everything. Literally hit everything on the entire show floor, hit every single booth twice over. And I was like, okay. So it's not an event in the same way we do West or East. It's an event for people. It's an event for talking to people and stuff. So like, I got two cool things I want to talk about. I'll do one, and then Blake, I want some thoughts on your weekend as well.
Sure.
So like, one of my cool things is I got to see the first episode of Mythic Quest. I got invited to a screening of that. For those who don't know, it's a show that's coming to Apple TV for some reason that I'm guessing they offered them a lot of money, but it's I never know how to say his last name. Rob McElhenney. I've never Mac from It's Always Sunny.
McElhenney.
Yeah, McElhenney. Okay.
McElhenney.
Well, yeah. So Rob,
I don't know if that's correct. I'm reading it over here out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, it's fucking McElhenney.
I mean, he's Mac on Always Sunny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a show that he's doing that it's about like the game industry. I think they showed it off at E3 for the first time, and it's also starring like Ashley Birch and a bunch of other people, and it was a really cool first episode because what I liked about it is one, it was funny. Two, it was like an actual game studio, but it was turned up to 11. Like it still had the jokey haha kind of nature, but what was cool about it was that it wasn't like, oh, we just gotta like, punch in and upgrade the graphics. Like there was legitimate talk about things. Also, Ubisoft helped with the show, so like there was inexplicable like clearly stuff from For Honor and Assassin's Creed animations whenever they showed stuff. And I was like, I like this. But it's about the development of an MMO, and they're launching like the world's biggest MMO, World of Warcraft-esque kind of thing, and they're launching their first episode is about launching their first expansion. Yeah, God, my brain. I'm in PAX South mode, people. I'm going to be screwing very basic words tonight. Like, I got 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night while I was there, so I'm a little fucked up right now. So yeah, but the show was cool. And what I liked is they talked about like it's gonna be 9 episodes, all released at once, and I think they said that the last episode's going to deal with crunch. Yeah.
The way that it was described to me was it's like the Guild, but with Always Sunny.
Kinda, yeah, and with a budget.
And with a budget. Well, I mean, the first Always Sunny was shot on like a Sony VX100 like handy cam. So.
Well, the Guild was also low budget too, so it's like
Mac has come a long way.
Yeah, no, so I definitely I like what they're doing. I'm really excited to see more of it, and they gave me a poster signed by everyone, which I only discovered because everyone else with me took their posters out of the tube to get them signed. They were like, "Oh fuck, we got to get these back in the tube now."
Yeah,
kind of thing. But got to meet Rob. He was one of the nicest people I've met. And then I had a wonderful moment where Ashley Birch saw me and yelled, "Josh, you're here!" and gave me a big hug because she's an old friend of Charnel's. And
I think that's the thing that I appreciate about South.
Yeah.
is that a premiere like that, like Mythic Quest, whatever it was, it has the room to really like permeate throughout the weekend and like be present. I feel like it's something like East or West. It would definitely be like big news, but it would just be the premiere event and then like people talking about it. Whereas with South, like Josh, did you go sit on the Eagle?
No, I didn't want to wait in the line. The line was only like 5 minutes long.
So Alex just did the like, what?
I mean, I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm just trying to imagine what kind of eagle we're talking here.
It's like a big fucking 20-foot eagle statue thing that they like let people climb on top of. And I'm sure if you look on Twitter, there's all kinds of pictures, but it's people on the back of this eagle doing the like, yeah, woo, like, thing. And the whole time, like, that booth was open to the public. You could climb up on there and be goofy. And like, it was neat. And I actually think that they gave out some of those signed posters at that booth too. Like, it was cool. Like, I get it. I got it.
They were doing some event stuff, so it was cool.
I was like, what does the eagle belong to?
Yeah, like what game is the eagle from?
So I don't think it was supposed to be an eagle. I think it was supposed to be a raven because the name of it is Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. Yeah. So I think it was meant to be a raven, but it really looked more like an eagle.
I live in Austin, man. We have 9 different types of corvid. All right. That was an eagle. That was not a raven. All right. I know the difference between a grackle and a crow. All right. And a raven.
Blake knows his bird stuff.
My bird law.
Your bird.
You are an avian. Help but make the
You are an avian.
Help but make the always sunny jokes.
All right, so Blake, so tell me a little bit about your PAX South experience, as it were. Was something you enjoyed doing, seeing? Whatever?
You really hit the nail on the head when you said that South is not really the place to go, like, try out everybody's new stuff and like everybody's got something brand new. It's really more of a place to come hang out. And like, I hung out with all my dev friends the whole weekend, pretty much. Like all my local friends came down and like we went out and we had dinner and drinks and stuff. But like the majority of the time that I was there, I was just talking to people that I knew and asking them about their new projects or like their old projects. So like to put it in perspective, so like this was like the 8th or 9th one. I
didn't even realize it was that many, honestly.
So I've seen these guys at this show for almost a decade now, and they all have like projects that they've cycled through, or they've moved booths or whatever. Like one of the producers that was at Tiny Build when I was working with them is now like his own guy that walks around at these shows trying to sign games to his own publisher. Hanging out with him was a good time. Checking in with Mike from Berserk after he brings his big 105-inch television with Just Shapes and Beats on it for the 9th year in a row.
God, like, I've got a Mike story, by the way.
Whenever he only knows me. He only knows me as Donuts.
Donuts.
He was so he went through a period where he was at like every North American show, right? Mike from Berserk. If you've known him, he's the guy that wears the plaid shirt every day. It's red plaid. It either has sleeves or it doesn't. He has multiple of these shirts. So he sets up this big ass TV with his game, Just Shapes and Beats, which is out. It's been out on Switch. It's fantastic. If you have a chance to check it out. But it's like 2-3 years old at this point from release. And I had seen it probably 3 or 4 years in leading up to its release. Every time I walk by that guy, he's just like, "Hey, Donuts!" And I'm like, "What? How do you not know my name by this point?" And he's like, "No, I know your name, Blake. It's fine." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. But you still call me Donuts."
I mean,
because I showed up with donuts once, and they weren't even my donuts. I stole them from another booth and was just like walking around eating a box of donuts, and I let you have one. Like, it's just, I don't know. I enjoy that because it's this weird intimacy you get to have with the games industry and the indie games people. And, at West or East, it's like, no time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Got to show the game, got to talk to the people, got to secure investments. Whereas at South, it's like,
it's no business.
Play my game, you want to hang out? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not that tough.
No, it's really a nice chill experience. I was going to say with Berserk, I got to witness that they were giving out trophies for anyone who could beat Infernax, their new upcoming game, which is the way they describe it is like if Zelda 2 and one of the Castlevania, I forget which one, were actually good.
That sounds like their language, yeah.
Yeah, that's how they describe it.
Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. Yes.
That's what it was. So yeah, thank you. But they were giving out these 2 trophies to anyone that could beat it, and 2 people beat it. And then on Sunday, somebody then beat the game, and you could see Mike just stand there for a few seconds like, I don't know what to give this guy. And Hunter, their PR person, marketing person's not there. And he's like, I don't know. And then there's this giant picture that's about like 50-inch TV style, like this really shape painting they got at a thrift store up there. And Mike's like, you're taking this to the guy. And he takes it off the thing. He signs it. Thank you for being in Fernax. Love, Mike, or something like that. Yeah. And the guy who beat it has this look on his face like, no, like, no, how do I don't want that. Like, he literally just looks, how do I get out of this?
That's Mike to a T. Yeah. That man will look around his booth and be like, you just did something mildly impressive, and I didn't think anybody was going to do it. So I guess here's a computer. Here's a camera lens. Here's a controller that we're not using right now. Like that sounds like him. Mm-hmm. But like between that and then like watching Tiny Build just level up over the last decade has been kind of cool. Their booth this year was straight ridiculous. So they used to have this like little octagon thing where you went and played Secret Neighbor, Hello Neighbor, whatever. And that leveled up previously from like a little standee thing that was made out of metal that we had to build. And they did that. But then the little octagon thing happens. And then now they have this huge like cube superstructure with like multiple TVs and like the neighbors like looming over the whole show, and and then like everything else in their booth was set up like a carnival with like little individual tents, and like the demos essentially were like the midway, so they had like the little string lights, and of course everything's fucking orange because it's Tiny Build. But no, like I like South a lot because it's that same like family feeling that I've had just working it and being there. And I thought like just attending it this year was going to be kind of weird because I wouldn't get that feeling. And then of course everybody's like, Mike, what are you doing? What's happening? Come over, come hang out in the booth. You want some juice? You want a Sprite? You want some trail mix? Yeah, come hang out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You want some merch? No, I'm good. Okay, take some merch. I'm like, all right. Wear the merch.
So much merch.
Right.
Merch.
Lots of fun stuff.
Yeah. Good.
Not to kick it like too far forward. But I was actually looking at Irrational Passions upcoming like content and their Twitter. Alex?
Yes. Hello.
You have a guest on one of your panels. It's actually a good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. Kelsey from Annapurna. Mm-hmm. You're talking to her about RPG tropes and stuff like that.
Kelsey is a friend of Scott White, who's the other host of the panel and the host of RPG University. I've never met her. I've never spoken to her except until recently. So
be ready for some real big deadpan humor.
Excellent.
You're gonna have a good time.
Yes,
yeah, Josh. I mean, other than Mythic Quest, what was the thing about PAX like South this year that you were? It's so hard asking you these questions. I'm sorry. It's so hard. We literally spent like half this weekend together just talking with each other about shit we can't talk about on the podcast.
It's amazing,
and, like,
right?
And like going through the teeth thing. We can't really even talk about the teeth thing, but the teeth thing happened.
I mean,
and then
the teeth thing. Just for people to know, the reason we it's a little bit of a gray area is I work for Stride PR. Stride PR represents a game called Speaking Simulator. There's a teeth thing, so just be aware that we're talking about a client that I don't personally work with, but is part of the company I work for's thing. But we were hanging out with the guy behind Speaking Simulator, Jed. And if you've never seen Speaking Simulator in an event, when you play the game, or sometimes when you've just finished eating dinner with him, he gives you these little vials about a centimeter?
They're like half an inch.
They're
the smallest bottles I've ever seen.
And inside them is a tooth.
Qualifications I have to do any job, they fit into that bottle.
There's a tooth in it?
Yeah.
Oh, and
a real tooth.
It's a real tooth.
It's not a fake tooth. We have no idea. Jed's over here. He's Australian. He's like, oh, hey, mate, they steal them from orphans and shit. And I'm like, I don't fucking, whatever the fuck that. Okay, the orphan's teeth. You're just giving an orphan's teeth out at events. All right.
Take it to the
time as a tooth fairy?
So I don't know, man.
DNA sample it. Find your long lost child. That's what I'm saying.
Well, so I talked.
Quest. He's a quest giver, man.
I don't want to find out that it's some old lady in China who's like losing her fucking teeth and she's selling them. I don't need that on my conscience.
They at least they got teeth. They at least mixed up a bit for a lucky winner that got a golden tooth.
No, there's no golden ticket tooth. Not at all. Fuck. Now you're just giving him ideas, Justin. He's going to see this and he's going to be like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Jed gave me a tooth after I checked out the game at PAX East, and then he still remembered me from PAX East because, in his words, you were just that fucking awkward. And I was like, thank you. And he's like, you're not that awkward right now, though. I like it. But anyways,
I think Jed managed to out awkward you this weekend.
Oh yeah, very much so.
He's handing out teeth. I think so. It's not that hard. Come on
the teeth thing, and then I've got a different thing really quickly related to Jed. But he tried to give me a new tooth almost every single day that I saw him at South. He tried to just give me. He's like, you could bring them home for the kids. You got little ones. They love teeth.
She got a pocket full of teeth, man.
I'm just imagining Sora running around with the tiny little tooth bottle.
He would it'd be in his mouth in 2 fucking seconds. Are you kidding me? But
that's even so. Just you hear the bag, you just look back there. He's just sucked into.
Oh god!
But
a pacifier,
these things are tiny. He would swallow them immediately. But no, talking about awkward. There's a place at South by South called what?
Inside spiritually, tooth
to tooth, heart to heart, soul to soul.
I'm gonna carry the soul of another human being through their tooth, through my body and my intestines, as long as it's in there.
The birds and the teeth conversation. You know what I mean?
Oh my god. Don't look for the teeth, Josh. Jesus Christ.
I kind of want to know what the
I think it's in Pandora's box back here, but I don't want to go. I was just I think I actually have it.
Well done.
I think I have one. Hang on. Fuck.
But just a quick thing on Jed's story. I'm going to go slow because I want Blake to hear part of this. But this guy, so we went to this bar.
I just want to point out we're all disgusted by his teeth thing while both of you are I got it around here somewhere. Where's it at?
I kept it for sure. I didn't throw it away like a sensible person.
Be disrespectful.
I definitely held on to it. I would throw that shit away in front of this person.
Alex, you know how it works when you're handed random shit from developers. Sometimes it's a USB drive, and Justin experienced sometimes a USB drive shaped like a bullet that you clearly should not be bringing out of a plane.
Right. Yes, it is.
And then sometimes you go around the corner of the booth and you drop it in a trash can and hope nobody sees. Listen, we all have to have to make difficult calls.
And then sometimes you have a spiritual connection with someone about teeth and you keep the teeth.
And then you eat their teeth and grow them inside of you.
You're making your own.
And there it is.
That is a little tooth.
Yeah, for the audio listeners, Blake is showing off the tooth.
It's like a little bottle from The Legend of Zelda.
It really is.
It looks like a miniaturized version of that. He went and ripped the little bottle out of a bunch of Link toys.
Oh, it's a Minish Cap one.
Toys.
Yeah.
Teeth in the bottles. And then gave them to people.
I mean, for anybody that asks him, he's like, yeah, I get them on Wish. And it's like, the bottles are the teeth. And he's like, no, I get them on Wish. And you're like, all right.
All right.
I don't need you to clarify that. Don't need you to do anything. Nope. Just
I
Wish.
am not a cop and I do not need to cry.
Yeah.
Part I really liked about South though was we went to this bar on the rocks, which for those which is this really it's a basement made of concrete that just plays really loud music, usually hip hop and rap. But for whatever reason, Sunday night they put on their screens a text line to request stuff. And Jed and I hijacked the ever-loving hell out of that, and we're just texting constantly, Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance, the most opposite stuff. And I would
funny.
I would start texting ABBA, I would all over the map kind of stuff.
Oh man!
And eventually, one full hour where it was just Jimmy Eat World leading it to Fall Out Boy, leading it to stuff, and I'm just we ruined this bar for a lot of people.
Actually, okay, I have one more. I'm sorry, I just thought of one thing because you're talking about On the Rock, which is the bar, the nightlife part of it.
It's the nightlife part.
I have to say something about an organization. and I'm gonna put it up against another. Get your Kingdom Hearts jokes out of here. I'm gonna put them up against another organization. Alex, have you ever been to a Twitch party?
I am not cool enough to go to Twitch parties.
Okay. Justin, you've been to a Twitch party. I know you have. Yeah.
I have been. If I haven't, I can guess what it's like.
I don't know what we were filming, but you might not remember. Josh, you've definitely been to a Twitch party.
I've been to a few
Twitches. I want to know more about what you were filming.
I talked my way in to the Mixer Partner Party, and it was fantastic. It was at an art museum. They had a charcuterie board. They had desserts. They served beer and wine. Like they had like a little mixer. Like, here's the conduct that we're expecting all of our partners and business people that are here to have. Like, you know, they checked people in. You had a wristband. They gave out free drinks. Like, the whole thing was stupid classy.
Was it like a networking event?
Like, yes,
it was a mixer.
It absolutely was. It was properly like hey, come drink, eat some stuff, hang out for a little bit, then get out on the town. Yep. And it lasted until like 10 or something. It wasn't like a show up for an hour. There's a bunch of idiots with "Hello, my name is" stickers, and then you leave.
Yeah, it was a 3-hour thing where like, you get to take your time, talk to people, have some bites, some pretty nice desserts actually as well. And yeah, that's why. So, and compared to Twitch, which is just blasting loud music, party,
right?
No, it's a party. And
that was going to be my follow-up. Yeah, it was so refreshing and at the same time infuriating because I knew that as soon as anyone else was like, "Hey, man, come to this thing with me," I would immediately be like, is it going to be like the Mixer thing that I liked? Mm-hmm. The small meats and the cheeses and the beers and the good conversation? Or is it going to be Twitch, where literally anyone with a Twitch account is allowed in, and it's a small bar, and all the drinks are overpriced and themed, and everything's really loud, and then they tell you you're lucky to be there, and then you leave? Like, what is this thing you speak of? How are we gonna do this?
Hold on. So you're saying we have a chance to get in?
Right? Yeah. What I'm saying is that the mixer, it ruined like all the other events that weekend for me. Like, I got into the Gearbox thing. I walked into the Gearbox thing. I'm like, it's at this bar that I like. It's a dueling piano place on the Riverwalk. I've been there with Tay and her family. Like, yeah, it'll be a good time. And I walk in and it's the same, like, and I'm like, oh, awesome, sweet. And there's the fucking PCs in the back of the room all running Borderlands 3. And I'm like,
get me out of here.
This is so rough. Well, yeah, because it's like, who goes to that and then sits down to play Borderlands 3? Like,
well,
it's
clearly a bunch
game.
of people. But
it's a good game, but oh man, yeah. The only redeeming part about the Gearbox thing was that I got to buy my usual bucket.
When he says bucket, by the way, he does mean a bucket. Yeah. It was a bucket of booze that had 4 straws in it, and
they served. Yeah.
And I would
4 straws.
Like, I don't remember. After like you guys left, I'd watched one person I know, or friend of a friend, drink one of those by themselves, and then I watched them drink 2 more by themselves. They went through 3 by themselves, and it's not even the alcohol content. It's so sugary sweet that that's the part that is more surprising.
There's just so much liquid in your body also.
Yeah.
In general. It's 3 buckets of liquid in your stomach. Y'all, like, can we talk about it?
It's a 96-ounce bucket. That's 3 of those. That's more bad.
That's more liquid than I drank in any day.
Imploding as we talk about it. Just
it was like, I like getting those. They're fun. You get one and you're like, all right, cool. Now whiskey. Because like the amount of sugar you've ingested is going to keep you alive for the rest of the night. But
what if that's it? Just like, man, I'm handling this well. Let's get another one. Just
no.
0% chance I would feel that good after handling 3 sips of that.
Listen, if somebody
rationalize here with that one guy,
I had 5 sips, like sharing with Blake and Tay, and at every sip, I think the look on my face was, "Oh God, that was a mistake."
Yeah, no, it was. I like them. They're fun, but you get one and then you're done. And like, Oh my God! Anybody walking? I'm 3 Bucket Bobby. I have 3 of these every time I come here. Like, no, I'm getting the fuck away from that guy. He's got no liver and 1 kidney, and I'd get diabetes just looking at him. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely nothing wrong with diabetes. Right, I know it's
three Bucket Bobby is a person. All right, let's just he's a human being. He's got a problem. All right, we're trying to help him. He's got diabetes.
Right. It was no, Justin. No, I haven't seen the commercials.
Yeah, I know.
The 3 Bucket Bobby diabetes commercial.
instead of Wilford Brimley saying diabetes over and over, it's 3 Bucket Bobby coming over like, woo!
You guys want some of this bucket? I gotta take my insulin shot.
I'm gonna go get another bucket and some more insulin. Yeah. Fuck, we're horrible people.
A little bit. Diabetes is not a joke, but 3 Bucket Bobby is real.
Yeah. Oh man,
makes me so fucking happy.
I love that we haven't talked about any of the games we played yet.
I didn't play anything really. No, I played Kunai. I'm going to talk about that actually probably a little bit on whenever Justin lets. Like, we don't really talk games as much on this show, so it's like that's why I feel PAX South was an appropriate conversation. But I, whenever Justin lets me talk about PAX South on Catch-All,
it's all gonna be Dragon Ball Kakarot, baby.
Whenever he lets me talk about it, I'll be talking about Kunai a little bit because that's probably my favorite thing that I saw at the show floor, and then Garden Story as well. Recommend both. But there was a lot of cool stuff that was the same stuff I saw at PAX West, or not quite ready for PAX East, which PAX East is in like less than 5 weeks.
Right.
By the way, if anyone saw my tweet earlier today where I said I had a great time at PAX South, I'm looking forward to PAX East next weekend. Mm-hmm. The amount of hate I'm still getting for that makes me so happy.
I think Alex was just personifying everyone who saw that tweet.
I really upset some people.
Immediately, God damn it.
But
Jesus, very close.
The final thing I'm going to say on South.
I just requested vacation. I haven't done anything else yet. Like purchase plane tickets or actually confirm I can go.
Justin, are we going to pretend that you're not going to look for plane tickets a week out before the event?
He needs to. Well, he already has a plane ticket. He already has one. He already has one from here to Boston. He needs to get to here, and then he needs to leave Boston.
Oh, okay.
Ain't no problem. Cheap all the time. It'll be great. But last minute, I am going to look at it. Now I got skin in the game. Like, there's a plane ticket there for me at the middle of the trip. So I feel obligated to make it, right?
I love you, but I've known you so long. Go do it. Go do it tomorrow. Like,
how do I know I could go?
All right.
You know you're good. That's the answer.
The only thing games wise I want to say check out based on what I saw was it's a game called Creature in the Well. If you have heard of it, good for you. If you haven't, it's really, really cool. Go look it up. It's available right now on Steam. I think it's coming to Switch.
Creature in the Well's been there. It's been there for
but it's like a pinball Dark Souls Mike Mignola Hellboy looking game. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Creature in the Well's pretty cool. We Justin and I did reviews on that like end of last year on Catch-All, I think. It's a good game. Wasn't necessarily my style, but it was cool. Yeah, only other thing I'm going to say, PAX South for me, is the fact is I went into this with the expectation this is my last event as media. Because again, I now work for Stride and probably going to be full-time with them by PAX East. So I'm like not media person anymore.
Right.
And I went in for that kind of like nonchalantly. And then this whole event, I felt off. I emotionally felt off. Like people kept saying to me, it's like, Josh, you're more awkward than usual. Or like you're forgetting stuff more than usual. And I couldn't put my finger. And I it was in my own head too, and people were even noticing it. So I was like, "What is going on with me?" And it was a Sunday night.
I have power over you now.
No, it wasn't. No, but it was like before
limited power.
I've taken to the dark side.
It was before dinner Sunday. A friend of mine like made a comment, and
That's
for some reason,
PAX East now because it's in his head.
It is.
But
I know, like,
Josh.
Just shut up for 2 seconds, Justin. You never talk this much. Shut up.
That's why I don't, because I always get these comments.
No, no, I want you to talk. Keep talking. Just let me finish this thought because I am having trouble speaking. tonight. But no, but Sunday night I went out to dinner with a friend and they made some comment. I don't remember what it was, and it clicked the gear in my head. I spent all weekend introducing myself as Josh, who does PR and marketing, not Josh, the guy who does podcasting. And it was the holy shit. Literally, I'm in a new chapter of my life. And it was very weird and very surreal experience. And like, I got super emotional about it at dinner, kind of thing. But like, it was just like one of those things like, whoa. Like, I might do media-esque stuff here and there at events, work with people, do stuff like that, but like that's just not my identifying trait anymore. And I was like, oh.
I mean, that was the end goal, though. You know what I mean? Like, I love you to death, but that's the end goal. Is when you start down this road or this path of creating content or podcasting or making a website, is like eventually being a professional. I
thought
having a company behind you.
I thought I'd be a professional podcaster. I mean, the stupid dream when it actually mattered was at the beginning was Rooster Teeth buys you, right? And then the eventual dream was, Kind of Funny buys you, and then it turned into, well, maybe Greg just hires me, and then you realize Blessing exists, and you're like, no, you're no, he's not hiring anyone other than Blessing.
Right.
My chance of that's not happening. So like that's kind of like the path I was on, but. Yeah, no, I mean, after just dropping money and barely ever making a dime off Constantly Calibrating and having 2 children, the goals had to change.
A paying job just makes sense.
Yeah, and my wife also quitting her job.
Right.
Do it. That's it's a good
motivator. It's the growth. It's the growth.
Are you growing?
The growth. You get there. You're a dude among dudes that like made it happen, and you got the job that you should be doing. Yes.
All right. Well, I agree with that, and I feel that
it may have never been a goal, or you may have thought of that as a goal at first, but I mean, you kind of put yourself in that role to like you just build the experience every single one day we go to. I was going somewhere with this.
You're going too emotional for me. I can't handle this right now. We just got to talk to Alex about his
wholesome. This is feeding me energy.
Trying to figure out what I'm going to do when they ask, "Oh, who are you?" It's like coattails riding the baby.
Nah.
Well, all right. I feel like that's enough Dutch ruddering for Josh.
I think we're.
It's never enough Dutch ruddering for Josh.
I had a good weekend at PAX South. It was good to see Josh at his last event as media.
As it were,
and
where I was mostly sober.
We'll still be friends and still be probably making stuff. You'll ask me on a show last minute at some point again, I'm sure.
No, absolutely. No, I'll remember I asked you on a show last minute.
God damn it! Yeah, that was so funny. You were like, "I did do that, didn't I?" I was like, "Yep." And you were like, "At the show," and I was like, "Nope." And you were like, "Before the show," and I was like, "Yep." And you went, "I do that, yes."
Yeah,
this is what I've been putting up with.
Oh fuck!
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have. So I do need to skip daddle do out of here.
Yeah, you skidoodle biddle.
Josh, Justin, it was good to talk to you guys again.
Great to talk to you, man.
Alex, it was good to meet you. I will definitely have to keep checking out the stuff that's on Irrational Passions. I'm still on your website. Actually,
there's a lot of it.
Clicking around. Yeah,
they do a lot of stuff. Honestly, it really.
Well, listen, when you've got more than 5 people,
you got a powerhouse as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
especially when they're all Beyoncés.
They're all divas.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, this is your cue to move shit around. Your boy's out. Goodbye.
Later. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't forget your tooth.
Oh, look at me.
I love the smoothness of that I actually, usually when somebody leaves, I actually was prepared to turn it into a 3-person thing. It worked so smoothly. No, so Alex, I'm really, I said at the top of the show, when Blake said it was going to be, he's 25 minutes, and we ended up talking PAX South for really a while, which I'm happy about. It was wonderful, and thank you, Blake, for coming by if you're still watching. But let's talk a little bit about the stuff that you do, sir.
Sure.
So as you said at one point, you've been doing this for a decade, which was the thing that kind of surprised me. Because so here's the rundown. I found out about you it was before Kind of Funny was a thing, but like when Justin was starting to get into Greg Miller, like right before the beginning of Kind of Funny, your name and Irrational Passions started popping up, and I immediately decided I didn't like you.
Cool. I get that a lot, honestly. Like, I'm not even kidding. I do get that a lot, so it's fine.
Because you seemed like you were successful and I wasn't, kind of thing.
That was the greatest lie I told you, my friend.
Oh no, I understand how the business and how the podcast's business works. Trust me, I'm also not a little bitch about people as I once was. But it was like one of those things where it was like, okay, this guy. And then it was like, oh, he's actually been doing this for longer. Normally I used to get irrationally, stupidly mad about people because they started after me and were getting more well known. You were doing this longer. And I was like, God damn it, I can't even be mad at him anymore. And then the worst thing in the world happened, Alex. I met you in person and discovered that, like, oh my God, he's actually like a lovely, delightful person and gives really nice hugs. You give really nice.
I don't know about the other stuff.
You can fight me on the other stuff. That could just be opinions, but it's a fact. You give good hugs.
Stellar hugs.
You do.
I'm promising one hug to everyone that comes to the PAX panel. I'm sorry, Justin. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just one? Oh no,
at least one per person.
That's one thing I kind of been preaching. Like, everybody looks at somebody from a distance and they're like, I don't like this person. I don't get it. They're a jerk, or like everybody's popping up. And the thing is, I love that you make your face when I said that. The thing is, meet these people to form your opinions, maybe not. What you hear or what you see at a distance.
Oh, and it's not what I saw or heard in the case of Alex or anyone else that I've gotten unnecessarily jealous about. It's literally just my own paranoia and like lack of self-worth that just supersedes, because I didn't even bother to ever, like, at that point early on, I didn't bother to like look at someone else's content. I just assumed they exist. They have some degree of name recognition more than I do, ergo they're better. And it's what I always say to content creators now. It's like, work with other people, learn who's doing your craft similarly, whether they're better than you, worse than you, or the same as you, is completely not, as long as they have values you identify with, work with them and learn from them or teach them. Is kind of what I've
always loved collaboration. I think like that's always been the heart of my growth too. Like, just over time, I've gotten the chance to work with a lot of really cool people.
Yep. You've done some cool stuff, man. So just get people like who might not know, just come to Constantly Calibrating and doesn't know, like, what does Irrational Passions do? What do you do?
Irrational Passions video game website. Stop me if you heard this one before. It's about video games. We don't do news. So, like, that's one of the things. It's like,
I heard that way.
I want you to check my website like every other day or whatever, but we don't have we're not going to have something there for you every day. But I feel like everything that we put out there is pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's at a point where I'm like, really, I make the worst stuff that's on the website. Everyone else makes like really great stuff. I'm like, cool. I like, at the very least, maybe I contribute to the platform that people contribute to. But talk about video games. I host a Irrational Passions podcast. It's a podcast about video games. We've recorded 454 episodes.
Motherfucker.
So that is just like the point of reference. And that's like there were a lot of skipped weeks.
Certainly.
Oh, yeah.
First couple of years, we were pretty solid, but so we talk about the games that we're playing there. Sometimes we talk about news. We have a feed to catch all of our ideas called IP Presents that has a lot of really cool stuff on it. Right now, if you go to irrationalpassions.com, Game of the Year is happening for us. We like to do it in January. Let it sit, let it settle. And like we took 2 weeks off, like completely shut down and like nothing doing. Everyone is just separating, and then when we came back from that, we're doing Game of the Year. So
we did Game of the Year and then took our 2 week break, and then I realized, I don't want to edit during the 2 weeks, so we didn't actually release it anyways.
That's happened to me as well. So like I totally get it. So that was like a big part of like, we could try and record it beforehand and then break and then release it after, which we also talked about doing, but it was better to, I think, just do it afterwards. We felt recharged. We had a good energy. It's 3 podcast episodes that are on the Irrational Passions podcast feed that you should listen to. Right? And we had like really good conversations, right? Maybe the things that we concluded were the best games of the year are not surprises necessarily to you or to a lot of people, but I think the conversations, the things that we talked about, the soul searching that we reached into our hearts and found, I think all those things were valuable. So go check it out.
Can recommend. I can recommend. I like listening to you guys. What I like always about your podcast is it's one of the few ones that I feel I can actually like listen to, not just when I'm driving. I don't like listening to most podcasts unless I'm driving, but I actually like you guys are one of like 3 shows that I actually like. I could just throw this on, on my computer or on my phone or whatever when I'm working, and I can actually like do other stuff other than just, the whole driving aspect. So I always appreciate that. You guys are doing something also really cool that I think you just announced yesterday, if I'm correct, or very recently. You just announced that you are doing your PAX East panel.
Yeah.
So Blake brought it up for a second a little while ago. What's the PAX East panel?
So we're talking about the best and worst tropes of RPGs. It is essentially an episode of RPG University, which is a podcast on irrationalpassions.com, another separate show. It's bi-weekly. It happens every other week, hosted by Scott White, the self-titled RPG Professor RPG. He's very good. He likes talking about RPGs. He's had a lot of guests on that show. All of them are like all the panelists that we're having on are, for the most part, returning guests from that show, and me. So it's Scott and I hosting with John Phipps from Super Deformed Gamecast.
Bad choice, terrible call. No,
I know it was a bad call.
That old dude.
He'll be there and he'll be screaming about Final Fantasy VI. You know it.
Oh, come on.
Rebecca Valentine from
knock against the Witcher's combat system, and I'm going to
just
stand down the moment he looks at me.
Rebecca Valentine from GameIndustry.biz.
Wonderful person.
Kelsey Hansen from Annapurna. Trevor Starkey from That Nerdy Site. A lot of good people. He's all right. I collaborated with Trevor for a long time now, so it's exciting. We joked about in 2014 or 15, I forget which year it was, but Trevor and I stayed in a hotel room that had 11 people in it, and it infamously became known as the PAX 11. It was exactly the wrong kind of reputation that you would want to have.
I mean, that you know what? It still sounds like a good memory. So
it's a good memory. There's a picture of me holding my inhaler in my just posed in that hotel room somewhere on the internet. So
now, is that the time where Zyger infamously thought a painting was a window, or was that a different?
This was a different occasion. Damn. I believe that was a PSX previous to that.
Gotcha. I just.
But it was adjacent, so we gave him a lot of shit that weekend for it.
Oh, of course, as you do. In chat, we have the Smalls Burr, our friend Christine, asking or commenting to your panel, PAX East. I'd like to hear what they think about Grandia. For reference, Christine is community manager for Grandia, so
I know Scott White has some Grandia thoughts. He's the professor. I'm just some schmuck that'll be there. So
he has some Grandia thoughts.
He has some Grandia thoughts, I'm sure to share. So yeah, I will add it to the list. Grandia themes and or tropes. Do they exist? We will find out. I do not know.
I look forward to the panel in general. I always try to make sure that I support people, even if it requires having to also support John. I try to support everyone else as well. And I can't wait to go to your panel. Like because again, I'm doing this thing where I don't know how I'm going to be attending East. I don't know because I'm not attending as media. I can get whatever pass to go to East. That I'm not worried about. I don't know if I'll be working for Stride, if I'll be working, in what capacity I'll be there. So it's just like, God, I hope my friends' panels are like at times I can actually attend, because it's actually giving me like the not bad anxiety, but just like that like anxiety where I'm like, I want to support people, and I want to show them love, and I want to ask dumb questions and cheer at inappropriate times, and in the case of what I just said, give John shit whenever possible.
Yeah, so he ignores us every single time we do.
Yeah, okay, Justin. Justin, you at the tournament at PAX West, we were like 20 rows back when you decided to yell John's name and stand up. He couldn't hear you. It's not that he ignored you.
He ignored me, man.
We got there.
He knew he did not deserve the victory at the previous PAX. The fraud.
Yeah, well, maybe if we'd actually fucking gotten to the thing on time, we actually could have sat in a place where somebody could hear us, but we showed up like 10 minutes before they started letting people in.
I want to, Justin, if you're going to be at the panel, I want you to bring a sign, just a big sign that says "Justice for Justin," and hold it up.
One of the people,
only people that listen to this episode of this podcast are going to know what that means.
Oh, literally nobody else. Literally, it's going to be you. You are going to be the only person who knows because John never listens to us.
But I'll know.
John claims he listens to it, but he doesn't.
I'll laugh hysterically. Everyone should go to the panel just because
Alex knows. That don't mean the world to me.
Oh, well, I always know. All the sweet things, none of the bad things. Don't worry. I don't know about them. You should go to the panel, one, because I'll give you a free hug if you show up, but two, you get to see me the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life. So it'll be peak me more than likely. We'll see how it goes.
I'm curious, have you done panels before, or?
I was brought up on a Kind of Funny panel for about 15, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
Let's not even go to 15. And I was extremely nervous the entire time.
No, I feel you. So this is going to be your first time kind of in an official capacity then. I mean, you're
in a public speaking environment.
You will do fine, and I will make lewd gestures at you the whole time from the first 2 rows to keep you calm. I hadn't done a panel in a very long time, and actually just at South, I was one of the people on the Ranking the Mass Effect Companions panel. And so the guy next to me had never been on one. I hadn't been on one in a while, and I literally felt like I was gonna shit my pants the entire time. I was so agitated, I was so nervous the whole time, and the guy next to me was so nervous that he completely forgot how to use a microphone. And it's they're panel mics. Panel mics, for those who don't know, it's not like what I'm using right now where I can kind of move around a little bit and you can still hear me. Panel mics, if you're not pretty much filleting those things, if they're not pretty much down your throat, exactly, you have to chew on that microphone to be heard. Don't actually chew on it; they will hear that too. But it has to be almost in your mouth to actually be heard. So that. So I was really nervous, and then I actually went into dad mode, making sure that he was all right, trying to end. But panels are awesome. They're really worthwhile doing. You guys are also doing a really cool topic, a really cool thing, and you've got awesome people up there that if your nerves kick in, you just think, okay, I can be quiet for a second while I gather myself and other people can actually handle this.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good way of doing it. Our first just us panel was not that case. I was the de facto host, and thankfully nobody showed up. It was a completely empty room. But still, that's not me being self-effacing. Literally nobody showed up. DreamHack forgot to promote they had panels.
Your old Justin over here sitting here, panelists, just not going to experience this. I'm about to run a campaign for PAX.
Don't show up.
East 2020 Pop My Cherry panel.
Jesus Christ.
So,
Pop my panel.
Look at Pop My panel, Cherry. Invite me on. Yeah. And there we go.
We'll get you on a panel by West.
We'll take an audience submission so you could technically show up in a panel. I think that could work for art.
Mm-hmm. I'm totally going to I'm such a fan. Alex said if I came up and say hi, he'll say hi back. Goodbye.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Please, I beg of you, no. But I'm excited. Is East your next event you're going to be doing?
Yes.
So what do you, aside from panel related stuff, what are you looking forward to for East? I know we're 5 weeks out, so and whatnot, but what's on your mind East wise?
I mean, it's weird. I really don't have a good gauge as to what's going to be there. Big or small right now. So I have hopes and dreams of things that I'd like to get little check-ins with. I'd like to see a lot of indie things because I feel like I've been disconnected from the indie scene, and I
get that.
PAX East is my favorite event. So that's always where I just walk around the indie alleys the most. If like dream thing would be like, hey, what's the word on Splunky 2? Like, give me an update. I just want like a little bit, just a tease.
A little bit.
Because I think it was PAX West 2018 was when I played that last, and it was like the only time it was playable. Thank God I went to that. I went and played it like on 7-8 different occasions. So like it is, I need it. And they've been pretty quiet for a while, so I think it's a possibility we could hear an update on that.
Wouldn't be surprised timing wise. Christine in chat is saying go check out Mage Quit. I can't imagine why that is. That you would be pushing Mage Quit is actually really cool. I really need to give it actually some more time.
I haven't heard of it, so maybe I will check that out.
It's a cool game, kind of like party-esque minded, but they have a bunch of different spells and stuff, and you're trying to knock people off. You're in teams. I'm describing this terribly, but they actually do cool tournaments and stuff at events, and it is legitimately like a lot of fun to watch and check out. So Christine helps them out with stuff.
Maybe it's wasteful for me to want to do it at PAX East, but if I get the chance, I'll play some Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take a little dip in the pool to see if the water is warm. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
they pick up the water and move it further away from you, so
I just need a taste.
I mean, it's not like they're ever going to release the demo. So.
Never at this point. We ruined that for ourselves. Right now. So the internet ruined that for everyone. So
pretty much.
So I might as well get the chance when I can.
I support that choice. Yeah, as I said, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing for East, so I can't even begin. I'm going into with the same mindset right now that I go into every event.
I see friends. Josh. What are you going to do? What am I going to do? I don't want to book my appointments and remind me I'm doing stuff. I mean, walk around circles outside the convention because I forgot to apply to get in.
No, please, someone let me in, please.
You'll get in. I'm not worried about that, and everything will be fine.
You'll find me outside holding a ton of them, selling PAX badges. That's what I'm going to turn into. It's my future.
With a full winter parka on because it's in Boston at the end of February.
At the end of February.
Mm-hmm. Aren't we all just looking forward to that shit? Like that's just.
I am. I'm gonna wear all white, so I'll be like camouflage, and I'll just pop out, and you'll never know. Oh, what's that? And, it's me.
We're all gonna be drinking in the hotel bar until the moment it's closed every night instead of just some nights because I don't want to go out there.
That or could do it the old ways where you drink to warm up.
Yeah,
drink and then go out into the wild. That sounds like a good idea.
That sounds totally safe.
So I went there after the Great Blizzard once and talk about it looked like Games of Thrones was all up in there. We're at the wall pretty much on every sidewalk you go to.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, here's the complaint. Like Christine's pointing out, it was too cold to go out drinking in San Antonio. San Antonio was windy as hell and it was really cold, but it actually hit my threshold of cold where I'm just like, oh my God, I've been in Arizona so long. I've been in West Coast esque for so long. I can't handle what I grew up in, a traditional New England winter. It's what the hell is Boston gonna be like for me? You're just gonna find me sitting at the bar with 5 sweaters on and 2 jackets on, and for some reason still only 1 layer of pants because I don't think that far ahead, and I'm just gonna be shivering and crying into a Moscow Mule.
That was your mistake, was letting the West Coast beat the East Coast out of you.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hold on to that.
I held on for so long, Alex. I grew up in New York and / Connecticut. I was there for all over 15 years, and I held on to that cold. I held on to that frozen heartedness for another 15 years. But I've now been here.
The freeze was made.
Yep. But I've now been here for 19 years. I'm married to a native Arizonan. I have spawned 2 now native Arizonans, and it's all of that has just polluted me. For that? A little bit, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not because kids are lovely, Josh, both of them. But yeah, I mean, you're contributing to the problem now.
I mean, the little one's kind of an asshole, but he's a toddler. But yeah, I mean, it's I'm definitely contributing.
Can't take that easy out of him, man.
No, they've got the AZ blood in them. They've got the AZ.
It sounds bad. He got the Az.
He's got the Az.
Got the Az.
He's got Az for you.
He's got asthma. Oh.
Poor guy.
Ooh, we're the only one with asthma here. Come on, let's be. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if either of you have asthma.
I probably got something wrong with my lungs that's gone undiagnosed, but that's really most of my medical stuff. Nice. But Charnel has asthma that she should probably do something about that's never been treated. So
yeah. And plus, the way Josh always talks about medical conditions, he's essentially Mr. Burns, and all the germs are trying to get through. Like, they're all in there. They're all causing problems. No one's going to believe them.
But they're all there in perfect equal measure. So they proliferate. It's like you're looking at giving like the weirdest look, Alex. But like, since I'm a medical anomaly, there's all about my body. There's some just weird illogical stuff. Like, I have my little brother's a doctor, and he literally will just like, I'll tell him stuff, and he's like, yeah, no, that's not physically possible. What you're experiencing, like, that is literally that cannot happen. Oh, well, I have this condition. Could it be? No, it cannot possibly be causing that, Josh. There's literally no way that you are experiencing what you're experiencing.
I have like a mythical medical condition. I have chronic fatigue syndrome, so like I get it to some extent.
Yeah,
man, it's got that sleepy unicorn, man.
I do have the sleepy unicorn. That's what they call me. Good old sleepy unicorn O'Neill.
Why not? Why not? Embrace it.
Exactly. That sounds beautiful. I sound delightful. Thank you.
If you ever start a solo streaming career or anything like that, solo content creator career, that could be your. I can see the logo in my head right now. The sneezing unicorn.
Yeah, man, that could be a nice bar too if you decide to go into that. It's so many uses.
Sleepy Unicorn Bar would actually be cool because then you could have like beanbag chairs around, and then like you just play like Enya and shit.
Look at that, I'm like, no.
I don't know.
It's a bar beanbag.
I actually fell asleep at PAX South in a bar, like not like drunk fell asleep, but like just started dozing off.
I thought you were about to say I fell asleep at PAX East in the beanbags that are just in the waiting area.
Oh no!
After the horror story I heard at South, where somebody said that they at South, not this past one, but the previous year, somebody was telling me a story. A friend of mine was saying how they just decided they were tired. They just decided nobody was around the beanbags. I'm just gonna plop into one. They plopped in and heard somebody just start screaming, I'm under here, because someone went to sleep under one of the beanbags. And like, not like they were laying on top of one and using another one as a blanket. They were on the floor with a beanbag on top of them sleeping.
Oh, jeez. So this is like super morbid, but like, there's a couple of that story of the like man that riding a train and just died on there, and it kept going, and no one noticed. That's going to be somebody at PAX under his beanbags.
It'll be me.
Alex is just
Alex is not at the panel yet. He's running late. Where is he? Dead under a fucking beanbag, y'all. What did you think would happen?
Someone's gonna be up there. He died the way he lived.
Tragic news.
Wasn't gonna make
the PAX East.
I mean, that'd be an interesting way to go out. I'm just not gonna lie. Like, that would be it.
Top 3. I'll keep it on the short list. Top 3.
Keep it on the short list.
Sounds very cozy.
It's
suffocated by beanbags.
It's the cozy way to go.
Great smell.
Not after like a couple of days.
No.
Everybody. Well, after a couple of days, people's like, "Oh, this smells like PAX."
Actually, that's the one thing I wish Blake was still here for. This was the smelliest event I've ever been to in my life, and admittedly, I haven't been to like a lot of undergroundy kind of events, but like,
I almost asked a dumb question, like, what kind of smell? Like a delightful smell?
No,
you're talking about man sweat.
No. Like, there was a constant smell of and a warning here of baby diarrhea. Like, that's the only thing I could describe. It specifically smelled like a small child just shit themselves everywhere, and it was really. Christine's saying no, it was not. Are you saying it wasn't the?
It smells like it.
Are you saying it was not the smelliest? Why do people forget the shower on day one? Yes, people forget the shower, but again, it wasn't a shower smell. It really smelled like, but it was constant. It kept popping up everywhere, primarily around the outskirts of the event. And then the only area that's actually smelled decent was the mixer booth, which I'm going to give credit to Andy Salisbury. I think him and Josh Stein both actually just put out a really delightful odor. And statements like that is why neither one will ever come on the podcast.
Got him.
Yeah. Oh, actually, one last PAX South thing that I keep doubling back on. I had fast food for the first time in a little over 10 years this weekend.
Oh,
Whataburger.
Oh,
At 2:30 in the morning. Oh, I kept going every single night. I'd either go with our buddy Dan from Adult Swim, or I'd show up while he was already there.
I mean, everybody loves Whataburger, but how can you trust a place for what is named after is the worst thing on the menu?
Yeah. So, but it was a case of the second. Let's see. It was Saturday. Saturday night. So Saturday night, I went to an event called Emo Night, which, if people have never heard of it, it's a thing that started out of LA, and it's like a concert, except it's a DJ, but it's kind of an event, and like they're really just, honestly, it's just a DJ just playing music and not even like really necessarily tweaking the music. It's just loudly playing the music. But like they'll have like they played Linkin Park at one point, and they cut out all the audio, and a guy came and cut all the like the dialogue words. That's what I was looking for out of it. And they had a guy rap over Mike Shinoda's parts while they kept Chester Bennington's parts in, kind of stuff. So like they did like this stuff like that. Like, there were theatrics to it, and I got dragged to this event, and then it ended up realizing it's extremely my shit. And I was there for a while, but I ended up at Whataburger afterwards. By the time I got to Whataburger, I realized that I had about 7 or 8 vodka cranberry doubles. And that's yes, it's the actual amount, because they kept getting purchased for me.
If it's the Whataburger, I'm thinking about pay respects to Christine's Nuggets.
The one right by On the Rocks by the bar.
That might have been it.
Christine's saying in chat, so I'm gonna guess that was the one with her nuggets. But yeah, so I ended up saying fuck it, I'm not gonna keep because by that point I'd stolen people's fries on both Thursday night and Friday night, and I'm like, screw it, like, because 1 or 2 fries doesn't count as eating fast food in my mind. So I said, screw it, I'm actually gonna order like food, and I got this like essentially like chicken tender kind of sandwich, and I'm like, this is actually really tasty, you know, this is working, this is hitting the spot to absorb the alcohol, absorb the poison. And I got halfway through it, and I'm like, if I finish this, I'm gonna die. This will actually kill me. My body is not prepared for this level.
That's why you ate 2 more. Exactly. This is welcome to fast food. This
is why I finished off the French fries, stopped eating the sandwich, immediately went back to my hotel, took both Tums and IB Guard, and went to sleep. And then woke up drunk. Anyways, yeah, that's probably my last PAX South random tangent story. God, I hope
it sounds like it had fun in it, regardless of maybe not being too busy.
That was what I was looking for. No, it was a fun event. I actually sincerely recommend it for anyone who can like get out there, because if money's not an issue, it's an event worth going to. Like if you have to choose between that or PAX East or that or PAX West or that or a different event, probably choose the other event. But if you can do multiple events, I say go to South, because it's just chill and you can hang out with friends and explore.
You're probably not going to see everything you want. Not everything's going to be there, but it is a more chilled experience. You can actually walk to what you want to get to and not get shoved around in lines, going in the opposite direction. Chill event. It's definitely like the wind down PAX, and pretty good, man. It's always like people are going to say it's underwhelming when it comes to what's there, but in the end, it's always like a good time.
Yeah, it's a good start of the year PAX event, particularly when you compare it to East or West, which are just stiff as hell. And I think we just had a massive lag spike because Alex's camera just like went bananas there. So yeah,
I have red bars, so just bear with me for a second here.
You're good. You got nothing to worry about, nothing at all. So yeah, what else, you guys? So we're just starting off 2020. I think one of the last things I'm really curious about, Alex, is what do you guys have on the horizon for 2020? What are you and your team what are you looking forward to? And we could actually do what are you looking forward to doing content, and podcasting and writing wise, and also what are you looking forward to in the gaming extended sphere? And we could limit it to the first half of the year also, because it's years are long.
Sure. So stuff that we're working on, right? Like we took a big break to kind of recenter ourselves. We're shifting things around.
Always good.
And I think we'll have a clear image of what that's going to be in a couple of weeks after we've kind of had Game of the Year finish, and because we finished it, and now we're just getting our written lists ready, and that's all going to be done and out by the end of this week. So after that, we're going to talk about things that we want to do, and then we're gonna obviously be around each other in Boston. That's the only time we all get together. So there's definitely gonna be some more conversations there. So I would say like beginning of March I'd have a better answer for you. Right now we have a lot of very grand plans. We'll see how.
Oh, I understand grand plans, sir. I understand grand plans very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just
go. Yeah, I see. That's how I feel about those plans. So like, as for like me, like personally, the things that I want to do, like I have a lot of other grand plans, some of which I don't necessarily want to say yet, just because they're not firm. But I would say I'm hoping April turns out to be a good month for me. I'm hoping that I want to go to E3 this year, even though it sounds like it's gonna be terrible. But like we'll see. I don't. For me, I've never been. So like I've been to zero E3s.
Yeah, you're gonna have that thing. So for example, we worked at GameStop, and holy man, we got to the point where it's like, but the new people that come in freaking love it. Mm-hmm. They eat that stuff up. So yeah, it doesn't matter what everybody's saying. Like
any E3 will be my best E3.
Always, yeah, your first E3 is always a great E3.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Next gen too, like so.
Or you just come go with me to LA, do what I do, where I don't actually go to E3. I just hang around the hotel bars all day, meeting people, setting up podcast stuff.
Got it.
And trying to get jobs.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly part of it. So I've got that, and then maybe more stuff past that. But like I haven't really thought about the second half of the year a lot. I'm moving in April, like in my personal life, so I have a lot to figure out. So we'll see. But as far as like things I'm looking forward to, obviously like I've tried to vie off like the cynicism of video games, but like I've come full circle. I'm ready. I'm excited about next generation again. Like I've got weird feelings. Like I love where video games are at right now. I love where the conversation is at. I love how inclusive and accessible everything is. And I love everything that Microsoft has done over the last 5 years. So like, I'm just so ready for this to be their year. And I'm not saying that as like a fanboy or anything. It's just like, if you watch the story, like now at this part in the narrative, Microsoft is the underdog. And I'm always rooting for the underdog. And it seems like they've got like the heart, the character, they've got every opportunity to win. So like, however the next 11 months go, like I really hope it goes well for them, just because I think the result of that will be some of the most positive change in video games. Just because that's the trend they've set for themselves.
I mean, between between Game Pass and the burgeoning info we're getting out of Project X Cloud, Microsoft's got some good stuff under their under and above their belt, figuratively.
Yeah, they finally got to the point, and something been talked about for a while. Like they realized we're not exactly a hardware company, and they're so focused on getting everybody on their platform, and they're doing it in so many right ways too. Like they, without a doubt, if you had to pick where do you get the most value out, I would always said PC because that's where you can find deals and all this stuff. But really, Microsoft is just, if you're a gamer on the budget, or just look for some cool stuff that's just available to you that you wouldn't think about. Like Microsoft just doing so much to get you going, and honestly, still, the best deal at the moment.
I think to fall back in my natural storytelling characteristics here for a second, like I think often like reflectively on the GameFly era of my life, which was pretty much all of high school, right? So that would be 2007 to 2011, right? That's my high school. And that was a time, like 2010 is when Irrational Passions started, right? So that was like a pre-formative to that moment, right? Like, so it informed a lot of like why I wanted to have conversations about video games and the things that kind of pushed me in that direction. And I tried a lot of different stuff. Today, I think that GameFly era of my life, if I were 14 again, it would be my Game Pass era of my life, where I got $10 a month and I'm on Game Pass. It's 286 games. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I going to get into? Like, you know what I mean? And there's just something so exciting about that. I think that so many people are probably forming such a connection with so many different things that in a breadth and vast way that like I can only dreamed about when I was a kid. You get access to so many different kinds of games, from very small, intimate games to very, very big games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, just thinking about the people thinking about the me's out there that exist now, the 14 to 18-year-old kids that will be podcasters, game developers, programmers, and everything in the future, they are getting exposed to such a beautiful array of genres, like such a cornucopia of different tastes and flavors. That they, going into video games, are going to have such a great understanding of just everything that games can be, and that's because of one service that one company made that seems like a terrible idea, and there's no way they could be making money on this, I would say, and it's such a great thing, like, unquestionably, I feel.
Yeah, no, I mean that's yeah, you hit the nail right there.
So I'm excited about Xbox in 2020. Another big thing, to double back real quick, thing that is happening at some point, Irrational Passions turns 10 July 3rd. So that's a thing. I don't, we'll see how that goes. Currently, no big plans, so don't expect much. But, like, if we manage to go to E3 and stuff, like, maybe we'll celebrate that. But cool. I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy VII. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk. Like, I like big games. I like small. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is, like, my next most anticipated video game right now. I'm so excited about it. Ori and the Blind Forest is one of the best Metroidvanias ever made. If you've not played it, you should. You can try it for free on Switch. It's on Game Pass as a demo on Switch. So yeah, I got a lot of good games coming out, even just the first half of this year, still after delay season. So video games are cool.
Speaking of 2020, you gonna be campaigning to be an up-and-comer?
I feel weird about campaigning. I think that's a weird thing.
You know what I mean? No, I'm not talking about, like, running a full campaign ads and, like,
No, I think it would be a great opportunity. It's like a goddamn dream. Like, for sure, I would love it. I think it would be incredible. I think I could do a lot with it too. But, like, I know I'm not the person that makes that decision, so I'd throw my name in the ring and hope for the best. But I will not be bummed out if I don't get it, because I get it. I understand.
That's a good way to do it. I think that's definitely a good way to go about it.
And I just it's hard to put all your eggs in one basket. I've learned over years and years and years that where I'm at, right? Like, I can't do that. I can't ride all of my bets on one thing. So if it's such a not sure shot, I don't know if I can take that. That's why.
God, I hate that. It's like the older I get, the smaller that basket is.
Mm-hmm. But if it's something I would want, and it's something I would do everything in my power to take that opportunity. So it's weird. That's how I feel about it.
No, I mean, it's a good way to feel about it. That's what I had to do in my head last year when I was pushing a little bit because there was a moment where I was like, wow, a lot of my family and friends who do not know what I do have just told me that they filled this out. I thought, is there a chance? And then I had to go back into my own head and be like, stop it. Stop it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And, move along, sir.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's not about numbers of votes, and that's why, like, it feels weird about throwing numbers at it. It's about giving somebody, like, a really great opportunity.
Exactly.
I'm somebody who's had a lot of really great opportunities already in my life, so that's you always got to take that with what you get.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Well, you are one of a few people I tweeted about that I would love to see get that opportunity. So, you have one of my votes, sir.
I'd kill it. I'll be honest.
Oh, you will kill it.
I get it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But no, I'm honored. Thank you.
I'm
thankful to everyone that thought of me for that.
Yeah, I want to see you, Justin, and quite a few other people. Although I still have a theory that Blessing is going to somehow win one of the spots again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would not somehow put that past.
Fly him away and then fly him back out again.
Look,
I want to say he earned it because he was the prom king with his prom queen, Zyger.
Mm-hmm.
What a great awkward dance that was. I don't know if there's video of that dance on the internet, but it was real good.
I mean, so you know the first step. Zygs, you failed?
Yep, exactly.
Dance with me.
Only event, like, I've never been to any of the kind of funny, like, events they've done. That was the one that I really wish I had just gotten off my ass and gone to.
Oh, that one would have torn me up on so many emotional levels.
Oh, yeah, no, that's, yeah. But Justin, you and I could have danced.
All of them. So I get it. I have like a weird obligation now because I have.
Josh,
I've weirdly made them all happen.
I only got to 2 and 3. The prom I had to skip out on because 1, I know it would emotionally destroy me. And Josh, you're right. We got to dance, but then I would know it wouldn't last forever, so I'd just be right back where I'm at.
Fair enough. Well, kind of funny is doing their studio thing eventually, so we'll all end up there.
A meeting of
so
the
we could dance
again. Yeah, there could be a dance party. That could happen.
No, please no.
I beg you. Lessons there. We've seen him break down on a boat, man.
I have seen
McGee will show up and make you dance. And I will tell you this: I did not plan on dancing at Kind of Funny Prom, but Yusuf McGee started dancing. I started fucking dancing.
No, I feel that. Actually, I danced on the dance floor on the rocks. I thought I said nothing but more PAX South. I actually danced on the dance floor at PAX South because that had.
Does someone stop and take an awkward video of you? Like, does somebody, and that's why he doesn't dance anymore?
Look at this beautiful specimen dancing.
No, I was dancing. I was dancing like beside and with a friend of mine, Cassie. She's a Frisk on Twitch, and she looks over at me. She's like, "Dancing, huh?" I'm like, and I just look at her. I'm like, "Is that what this looks like?" Because it doesn't feel like.
How many times you just break down? It's like, I don't know what to do. You're like, what would Shepard do?
I mean,
you started doing this.
That's how my dad dances. I'm never doing that. No,
make it your Mass Effect.
I know how to dance. I just don't know how to communicate that from my brain to my limbs. But I totally on paper know how to.
You think you know how to dance? Got it. Understand.
Yeah. It's like I logically know how to dance.
Hey, up until I was 15, I was told I was a great dancer, and then I became self-conscious and I stopped dancing, and then I just completely lost all ability to know how to do it, and the white Jewiness kicked in.
Usually a good partner.
Yeah, well, I dance right with
it just works out for people. I mean, don't put it down.
Yeah, true. I can't see how, but maybe.
Little Dicky, he's there.
That's your point of comparison. I love that. Like, you just pluck that one out of nowhere.
That actually just threw me completely and utterly off. I can't go further.
He's actually a pretty good dancer, though. Too. He's got some moves.
I don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Will Dicky?
Rap career.
Yeah, he's a rapper.
Okay, yeah,
you've never heard of him? Oh, okay, excellent. I mean, I'm gonna send you some videos afterwards where we'll discuss.
Ooh, no. Maybe yeah.
Justin, I'm on the same level.
Speak to you.
Well, it's been an interesting journey on this podcast tonight. It's been an interesting.
You calibrated?
I feel properly calibrated.
We never feel properly calibrated. Come on.
That's why the show has to go on forever, because you're still trying to get there. It's all about growth. To come back to what Blake said, it's all about growth.
All about growth, and that word forever is an interesting one that I'm going to talk about at a later date. But Alex, is there anything else you would like to talk about? Any other thoughts you have in your head you'd before we say our goodbyes?
Man, I feel like you're just setting me up for like some kind of salient thought. Nothing specific.
No.
Just be nice to people. Everyone should just be more nice because when you're really, there's a game that came out last year called Kind Words Lo-Fi.
Yep.
She'll be right to. Where you just write nice things to people who are upset or going through difficult times. And it is so rewarding to just write a nice thing to somebody. Just tell them it's going to be okay. Even if you don't know if it's going to be okay, like, having somebody there telling you that, it's a nice thing. So just want everybody to take 2020. My catchphrase for 2020 is 2020 eyes on the prize, because I love a good play on words. And this is the year, man. I'm telling you, I got some big, we talk about grand plans, but hopefully they actually happen.
What else? Will you get awards in the future? And you will get them. You're going to be that guy that goes to the acceptance speech and give that speech that everybody feels like, oh, I've grown a little bit inside.
That's the goal. I would love that. Those are the things, like sharing those moments with people there and with people us just out there listening, watching, hanging on every word. I think those are so valuable. But yeah, I think 2020 should be the year that you're like, I want to be nicer to more people. for no reason, because you don't need one. You could just be nice, and you do need a reason to be mean. That should be your rule. If you have a reason to be mean, be mean. You don't need a reason to be nice. Look at it that way, and I think maybe things will be all right.
I'm a little emotional, actually. Like that I really like. I know sincerely, like I really like that. That's a good mentality.
Also, just don't be mean. Don't listen to what I said about have a reason to be mean. Don't be mean.
Yeah, please don't be mean. It's not. As a person who spent, we've talked about this before, 30 years as a negative asshole who was pretty much mean to people all the time. There's no reward. Fuck off, Justin. No, I'm just saying there's literally no you think there's a reward, you think you're getting some energy out, or you think that you're doing something that gets you some benefit, but being nice for no reason whatsoever is so much more rewarding in so many ways. And it's not just the long-term changes, it's literally by the moments. You just don't realize it sometimes at the time. So
tell people that you like what they do, because they like to hear it. Everybody does. You know what I mean?
Always good. It's always a good thing to do. On that note, if you want more thoughts from Alex, such as this, or more interesting things, or just to listen to him talk, because honestly, I forgot to talk it a couple times because I got a little distracted by his voice. Alex, where can people find you? I really do like your voice. I like your podcast speaking voice. Sincerely, that was me.
I got the podcast voice of the ages coming in.
Alex, where can you read books to me too?
Yeah, listen. I'll make an audiobook. I'll send it to you guys directly.
There you go.
Just you two.
Thank you. Or you could just, a new segment. You just read Twitter. You pick the words of it.
Give me a couple of tweets, and I'm gonna make them sound nicer than anything you've ever heard. You can follow me on Twitter at alfighter27. I don't tweet a lot. I feel like I should tweet more, but then I always feel guilty if I send more than 2 tweets in 1 hour. Like, honestly, this is how I think about my life.
Compare yourself to John, who sends 2 tweets. He sends tweets.
Minutes, yeah.
I have him on alerts, and his they come in so fast, my phone sometimes can't handle.
I have 0 people on alerts, and I never will, because I don't wait for no man. I'll tell you what.
I got like 37 people on alerts because I just need to know what my friends are doing.
I get it, but that's crazy.
Need to feel needed.
Alfighter27. I take selfies on Saturdays. Come take pictures with me, because you should. It's very fun, and there's no I look ugly today. None of this. Just take a picture, hang out, and I'm going to tell you look beautiful. I tell you, I promise. You can follow Irrational Passions at Irrational Pod. There's a lot of great stuff there. IrrationalPassions.com. It's a cool place. Irrational Passions podcast live every Saturday, up every Tuesday on podcast services. So it's a good show, and I'm very proud of it. It's the best show that nobody listens to. That's what I'm going to start telling people, because it's just 4 friends, sometimes 5, hanging out, having a good time, having a good conversation about video games, about what they're playing. So a wholesome only applies. So if you're mean, follow me. And I love you. That's it. That's how you get in touch with me, I guess.
Send love signals into the air, into the ether.
Mm-hmm. I'll find them. Don't worry. I promise I can hear them.
I like that. I like that very much. Well, we'll do outro in a second, but thank you, Alex, for coming on the show. It's been great to actually get to chat with you in this capacity, and to finally do this whole thing. But
yeah, we've been. I said I would do this like 7 months ago, and here I am finally. I feel bad because I want to be on more podcasts, but I just never think to ask, or I'm too self-conscious to wait to be invited to, or whatever.
Yeah, timing doesn't work out. Also, we podcast at like one of the worst times imaginable for most people. So it's
the only time we could do it, damn it.
It's the only time we're able to do it, so we have to work with what we got. So it worked out that I put a tweet out, and then you were like, I'm not working that day. So
extra day off this week. I'll tell you what, I'm here.
Take it, run with it, have fun with it, whatever you with it, do it to it. But thank you all for joining us this week. Constantly Calibrating Podcast is live every Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Mixer.com/ConCalPod. We're on Facebook at Facebook.com/ConstantCalibrating, Twitter at ConCalPod. I'm Bear Punch. Justin is at Justin_Glorious. Check Instagram, Instagram.com/ConstantCalibrating. Come chat with us on Discord at ConstantCalibrating.com/Discord. YouTube.com/ConCalPod is where you may be watching this podcast. It took me, I wrote this new outro about 70 episodes ago, and it took me until last week to realize that I didn't have the fucking YouTube in the outro. I'm a professional, people. Please
get a job.
Yeah, not doing this. Please, please make sure you leave us a review wherever you're able to. Apple Podcasts really helps us out. It gets us more people listening, all that stuff. You know, if you want a better version of that part of the outro, go listen to the New Entertainment System podcast. Nathan does that part way better than I ever could. And with that, dear audience, we bid you all a good sign off.